dear colleague, Callum McDonald-Ball, who's our head of social, and Dentsu Total Social Managing Director, Victoria McEvitt-Smith, and Managing Partner, Jessica Whitney. Welcome.
Oh my God.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our panel on winning in the algorithm era with a total social approach. Now, Total Social at Dentsu combines specialist social teams from across Dentsu Creative and Dentsu Digital to form one of the largest social teams in the whole of the UK, and one of the few offering a truly end-to-end social solution for our clients. Now, social platforms have completely transformed into cohesive ecosystems where users can discover brands and make a purchase in a single interaction. Now, we can do everything on social platforms now, can't we? We can socialise, shop, learn, search. It's fantastic. It's a wealth of opportunities for clients. But in this algorithmic era, we are presented with the challenge of cutting through the noise. And that's where this partnership between media and creative can really help brands thrive amidst these challenges. And that brings me to our panel. So we've got the fabulous Jess Whitney from our media side and Callum McDonald-Ball from Dentsu Creative. So together we're going to be answering how we can win with a total social approach in the algorithm era. So first, Jess, can I start with you, if I may?
Absolutely.
The industry has been abuzz with the algorithm era, but from your perspective, what does that mean for Total Social?
Yeah, I think firstly, we have to say algorithms aren't a new thing. We all know they've been around in different shapes and forms for many, many years. But I think it's so pertinent right now because what we've seen in the last 12 months is this real shift and evolution in the intelligence and the sophistication around the algorithms themselves, especially within the social platforms. And what they're doing is they're able to drive increased kind of personalization and relevance in the content that you're seeing when you browse social media. I mean, if each of you now were to take out your phone, open one of your social media apps and actually look at the content of the person next to you, you'll appreciate it's completely different to yours. You'll actually really understand how personalized and curated the content that you're seeing truly is. And with this shift, it means that there's a real opportunity for brands to connect and leverage that opportunity of personalization with users more and more. And when you, I think there was a recent study that was done, I love this stat, by DCDX into the consumption habits of Gen Z. And 50% of respondents said that they felt that the algorithms knew more about their interests and what their likes were than their parents.
Oh my God, I can so relate to that. That's totally true.
Yeah, and even more so, the algorithms were better at even themselves at predicting what their potential next interests might be. So you can really see the quality of the data that these algorithms now have to inform that delivery point. And if you overlay that with this big shift that we've also seen in this convergence of search and social, that now more than ever, the intent signals within the social platforms are huge. So if you consider users now and how we all browse, we're either in an active or a passive state. And for brands to really win, it's about being able to appreciate that those states are both happening and to build a strategy around them and to achieve that cut through. And ultimately now, it's basically a fight for who can achieve 100% relevance the fastest.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with the algorithm. They're so intuitive now, aren't they? They know you better than anyone. But to that point, what is the role of an agency then if they know us so well?
That is a great question. Time and time again. Because we do all have access to the same tools within the platforms, right? We're seeing this increased automation, this ability to scale at speed. And with that comes almost everyone's this feeling that we're kind of relinquishing the control that we have within the platforms themselves. But that's not the case. There's still control there. It's just that it's shifted. It isn't as such, building a media plan and saying, right, this is who my audience can be and who they should be. And with that comes bias as media planners, right? So now everyone that's running any social activation campaigns, you should be trying to actually understand what is the bias within the algorithms, right? Because if you can answer that, as you as your brand and to find out the right combination of levers of inputs, that's how you win in this space. And it really is about taking the algorithms as that kind of central point and focus, and really understanding that the quality of the inputs that you feed the algorithms determine the quality of your outputs. So you've really got an opportunity there to be able to maximize. And when we think about those inputs, we've got data signals such as your CRM list, your audience insights, right through to content. Okay, content is a huge targeting lever in itself. You know, people buy from people, they don't buy from algorithms. And that is why content is now more important than ever before. And then kind of like a third point is around identifying the right proxy, KPI, to actually optimize to in those platforms. We see it time and time again that clients have a KPI for driving sales, yet they're so focused on that CTR and driving traffic. You've got to be able to test and learn and identify what is the best proxy KPI to achieve your business outcome. And ultimately, to enable all of that, it comes down to the fact you need a real skilled media buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really clear from what you said there, Jess, that there just isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. You need to be absolutely relevant, you need to drive engagement and meet audiences where they are. So with that in mind, Callum, how do brands ensure that Creative Stack really resonates with the audience?
I think it's interesting because the creative stack has changed and it's evolved, and it has to. A lot of brands play in the numbers game, pushing out a lot of content to make it work, but that's where it needs to change. For the past 5 years, I was running Aldi's social channels, and what that teaches you is that you need to understand your audience, and you need to understand the role your brand plays with that audience, not in terms of where you think your brand should show up and how you are, but also understanding what do your audience think of your brand right now. How do you find them where they are and take them on that journey? How do you show up culturally? How do you show up where they are, but how do you also show up in a way that they need you to show up? And that's where we started to look at the creative stack differently.
Yeah.
We know brand creative still has a role on social, albeit needs adapting, making it social first. We also know social first creative is key, and making those moments, like on Aldi where we created fake moss. Chanel, for whatever reason, came to Manchester, but we saw that as an opportunity and we jumped on it. The other two areas are also creator and influencer, and there's a distinct difference between the two. Influencers, we know, we'll talk about more. Creators, again, a lot of brands are starting to move into this space, but creators are the people that understand culture. They understand how brands should show up, but you're not buying them for their influence. You're buying them for their creativity and being able to cut through a lot of that noise. And at Dentsu, we invest heavily in that. That's one of our biggest growth areas, that we have creators embedded into our teams. They can take briefs and create content that previously brands weren't creating. Brands are sometimes scared of creating that content. It doesn't necessarily feel as polished as feels that they should for a brand, but that's where we know how we tap into the algorithm. That's how we cut through the noise, and that's in essence the way to succeed.
Yeah.
One of our best tools at Dentsu is Velocity, which I know, Jess, you absolutely love.
I
so
love
please.
Velocity. Yeah, so Velocity is, as Callum's just said, it's a Dentsu proprietary tool, and it was born and created out of this realization that these platforms that we're working with, they are full of so many insights. We see trends come and go really quickly, and if you don't meet that trend at that pinnacle point, then you miss out. And we see it time and time again where 3 months later, someone's still trying to get on a trend, and it's like, no, the trend's gone. You're not relevant anymore.
It's over.
It's over. Stop trying to make it happen. And you've really got to be there at the point that it takes off in order to drive that cut through. We keep talking about the sea of same. So what this tool does is basically it ingests via an API all of the keyword and hashtag kind of trending points across Google, Pinterest, and TikTok. And what we're able to do is it basically scrapes those platforms twice a day and pulls in all of this insight. And what we do is we basically build identifiers based on a client's category or brand focus, and basically ask the tool to make sure that it is elevating all of the associated hashtags and relevant terms to that brand and moment. But what sets the tool aside is it also looks and maps out at the kind of the propensity and the velocity of a trend before it's taking off, right? So what that means is we can take that insight, feed it back into our clients' teams or into our own creator teams, and make sure that we're creating content that is highly relatable and is on trend ultimately. But taking that one step further, with the rise of social search, we've actually deployed it across the search campaign for TikTok for a fashion retail client. And initially, when we set that campaign up, we just took our keywords from Google and brought them over into TikTok. And we got a good return on ad spend. To be fair, it was quite healthy, but it still wasn't meeting target. So we took these insights and over time optimized those keywords to be velocity keywords ultimately that they'd proposed. And we saw a 532% increase in ROAS by doing that. So yeah, I love the tool.
Oh my God,
it's
yeah.
great.
Like that stat is just phenomenal. And you're right, Jess, like trend fatigue is real, isn't it? And velocity is such an incredibly powerful tool to help define that relevance and find the relevancy. So Callum, like from your perspective, influencer, what role does influencer play in making things relevant for audiences?
Exactly, and we know influencers are amazing in this space. Some stats that I'm not going to pretend I've memorised, but influencers drive an average 12% more attentive time than brand content. They hold attention more, and we know attention is king. A recent Creator IQ report highlighted 6% of respondents reported influencers drove a higher ROI than traditional digital advertising. It shows exactly the power of influencers. Influencers are also the ones setting the trends, changing the platforms, changing behavioral norms on the platforms, but also, especially in 2024, 2025, we're really seeing the power of influencer from a sales perspective as well. They have absolutely taken over, especially in terms of TikTok Shop, and it truly shows the power through the funnel of an influencer.
Oh my God, like I'm totally sold on influencer, Callum. Like you've talked there about the benefits and how we can support the growth of brands, but from your perspective, I know we've had some horrible briefs come through, but what is the perfect brief from your perspective?
We love talking about briefs as agencies, but especially in a world where everyone wants to become an influencer, right? Everyone wants to be the next Molly May in their respective fields, minus the Tommy Fury drama of it all. That everyone wants to find that right person for their brand to unlock it, and it's really important that we start with measurement here. The market is so saturated, it's also so subjective. We've all had conversations around, I like this influencer, I don't really like this one, just personal taste. So that's where we have to take it to the data. That's where we have to listen to what are the signals that help unlock our business. So we always start with measurement, especially measurement where influencers, it used to sit top of funnel, it used to do the brand awareness piece brilliantly for us, but we're now living in a world where influencers can truly drive sales like no one else. We've all seen those stats. We've all seen the TikTok sales stats in terms of what they're doing, but making sure that when we're putting those briefs in, we're very clear on what is it that is there to drive. If it is full funnel, great. We then find the right talent. And we were having this chat yesterday. Some of those influencers, we all know it, but followers don't equal quality. Some of the best campaigns we've run that have driven the bottom line are those influencers with 10,000, 20,000 followers.
Oh my God, yeah, my favourites are those ones, yeah.
And that's it, and being able to take the data signals and plug it into the proprietary tools, we're able to identify the right influencers without any bias, which is also super key. And I think that's where we can then unlock it. That's the way. We need to start with measurement and work backwards.
Oh my God, I genuinely, I could listen to you all day talking about influencer, but the data and measurement and how we twist that into forecasting as well and looking at how sales are going to be driven. And that's really critical for TikTok Shop, isn't it, and social commerce, Jess? So can you just talk a little bit and quite quickly on on how creators and creative can really pack a punch in social commerce?
Yeah, completely. I think, as I said earlier, people buy from people, right? That is why the creator economy is scaling faster than the media right now. And what TikTok have been able to do is provide that closed loop system where in 3 clicks you have bought something, right? You've gone from discovery through to purchase. It's essentially collapsed the funnel. That traditional funnel that we talk about, TikTok have managed to collapse. Like it's changed the purchase behavior completely. So yeah, it's a real opportunity, and I think even even if you are kind of cautious about, oh, I don't really want that as an always-on approach, you don't have to have TikTok Shop as an always-on approach, right? You can use it as a bespoke strategy and think about it as like a customer experience, right? You know, a specific launch or that unique moment that you can really stand out. But community commerce is only going to grow, and I think if you're not testing it now, then you're going to miss out and competitors will be there.
No, you're right. Like, honestly, TikTok Shop, it is all about relevancy again, though, isn't it? And that's, again, Velocity can support in helping find the right products to, you know, to start that journey on social commerce.
Definitely.
But, like, I'm sure you could have got today that we could talk for hours about Total Social and the approach and how it can help brands, you know, win in the algorithm era. We will be around today if you want to, you know, catch us and chat a bit more. But I think two key things that have really come out for me during that session is just relevance and how that's super important, but then also quality as well. So quality of the inputs, like you mentioned before, Jess, so whether that's creative or data, quality of activation across all elements of media and creative and influencer, and then also that measurement piece as well. And brands really need a team that are invested in driving quality through the algorithm era so that we can really pack a punch and cut through. Oh, thank you both so much.
Thank you so
and thank
much.
you everyone for joining us.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.